shifting very rapidly into kind of a late game economy. And shifting it looks like he's dedicated to kind of a tank Goliath build, and now sending out that dropship, and I don't know he's going to be all that successful with this dropship, because those wraiths out in the field could very, very quickly and very, very easily take that out. Brilliant supply depot placement by C. He's going to, as you can see, Darkelf just going to have to dump those forces out, because after that was spotted out, he doesn't have a chance. And now you can see those wraiths pushing in, and that dropship going down very rapidly. Very good play by C. And C, even though he's a little bit behind in production, I still think he's ahead because just the unit kind of push he's got. Where Darkelf has been building a lot more production, he'll be ahead in just a second here if he can keep this up, which is why C is pushing right now. But C doing a fantastic job. Looks like he's expanding once again, going to try to even things up economically. He probably has equivalent amount of factories going down right this moment, and stopping that dropship I think was really huge. I just feel like C has a better unit set to win this game at the moment. And we'll see how that plays out in the long run. Obviously, micromanagement can be a really big factor in between here, but I really do feel like C's kind of gone with the more intelligent unit sets, especially for the map at hand. He can go all over the place with his Rays, where Darkelf is kind of limited on mobility, although he definitely has the sturdier unit in the Goliath as far as his anti-air and protection of the tanks goes, but Goliath can't really spot for you out of range, really. And Darkelf going up, he's going to pick, and as you can see, those tanks sieging, and here's where it comes in handy. So you can cloak them up, you can push them up, and you can spot. And where Darkelf has to spend a comsat, which you probably have to do anyway, which you probably do anyway to spot the wraiths. Basically, C can create these contains and then take a little peek. He can just go out of range, comsat himself, and then peek out of range with those wraiths. He just has to be a little bit, if he's really careful with them, being successful. He needs to be careful with those tanks at the southern position, because obviously hitting that supply depot, if they were in range, you'd end up losing them, and it looks like a comsat going off from the north. So now going to push in, try to draw those Goliaths in. If he can draw a couple of those Goliaths in, he will be able to take them out very easily. Darkelf, in the meantime, still has those two other expansions mined, and we're really setting up for a really long type game that's going to come down basically to kind of really fierce micro and macro. And in that regard, I might actually give this game to Darkelf. Looks like he's already got his science facility up. Let's check what the upgrades are looking at. Next time, let's see. Come on, click a Goliath, click a tank. And it looks like Darkelf, now that those raids are all out of position kind of in that contain, he's going to set up for another drop. And this could be really important. It looks like he's going to go along the north, that upper lane. Let's see if he decides to break the contain, or if he's just going to go after the resources. I don't think he's going to bother with the contain. Looks like a turret almost going up for C, and it looks like he's just going to dump backside across the middle lane. Yeah, he's just going to try to break this contain. Actually, going to stay out of view here, interestingly enough. So it looked like he was pushing out, but for whatever reason deciding to pull back. I think those dropships might have been spotted out while they were showing Darkelf's beautiful face on the screen. And as you can see, it looks like Darkelf was trying to create a contain in that upper lane, but being spotted out by C, he got some tanks in position. It looks like that one turret is not going to be enough to keep all those wraiths back. And now, yeah, all those tanks, he can uncloak those actually now if he wanted to. Going to be able to take all those tanks out. And now Darkelf actually going to break the contain across the middle, dropping tanks all over that area, tank bombs. So he's going to free up the middle lane for himself. And if he wants to press forward, he's going to be able to. C looks, as you can see, supplementing forces. That's the other thing, though, is even on the ground, C trying to protect that middle lane, as you can see, going to try to stake out some territory, though. But even if you get into the middle lane, get on the other side of the base, because of the kind of that middle line, even if you manage to open it up, you only have a sliver to kind of push through, and it's just so difficult. So Darkelf actually looks like he's getting hit a little bit here. Those four Goliaths should be able to force that tank back. He's trying to get a little bit of harassed there. And it looks like C in the meantime going to expand to 12 o'clock position. A large Wraith and tank force going across the middle lane for C in the meantime. A lot of factories up on both sides. Looks like no gas down, and really, yeah, gas is what makes the difference at this point of the game. Terran gas, that's where all the units are. That could be also another difference here, as you can see that the Wraiths cost more than Goliaths, just in flat production cost. I mean, they're really gas mineral heavy units. Goliaths, wow, a nice little push in there. Darkelf really didn't have anything for that there. It looks like he's going to siege some tanks in the background, but looks like he had his Goliath out of position. C actually really pressing in. Now going to start attacking that barracks. I'm not sure if there's another barrack up for Darkelf. Otherwise, he might not be able to basically get some more factories down, although he's doing fine for production at the moment. And as you can see, C pressing very dangerously close to Darkelf's base. A lot of concern, but he has a lot of dropships loaded out too. But this is the thing, is unless he draws those Wraiths off, he's not really going to be able to do kind of that air push. I really feel like dropships not very effective again again. And wow, C only had 4 factories up this entire time. I thought, see, this is why I don't assume things. There was a feedback thread, and people were saying, oh, you should just assume that the players are on top of these things. But C's had a lot of expansions up, and he does not have a lot of factories down. Maybe because that he lost that barracks, and now getting pushed on by a large Goliath tank force and losing a lot of units in the meantime. Starting to get some factories up now. The Wraith is going to come back and try to supplement. Looks like an attack force coming from the upper lane. Darkelf is just so far ahead as far as production goes, and now going to set up a push. As you can see, SCVs coming off the line to try to defend. Going to try to push up with those SCVs, try to attack those tanks, attack the Goliaths as well. And I'm not sure that C's going to actually get. Looks like Darkelf not going to press that. More reinforcements coming in now. I thought for a second there that C was going to lose that, and that Darkelf would be able to basically push up without, but only a single siege tank now. They're defending, and he's going to definitely lose that siege tank as soon as the comtat goes off. So looks like now C is actually getting his economy up, and looks like he's going to research. I'm not sure if he's researching for himself. He might switch into a kind of a vulture harass here in a second. Another dropship going down in the bottom lane for Darkelf. This is a really interesting game. It's really kind of hard to keep up with everything that's happening across the map, honestly. And it looks like at the very north, if you can see on the minimap, yeah, push going in against those 3 tanks. It looks like Darkelf now on the offensive, going to try to push up into C's forces. It looks like they're getting intercepted by the raids. Let's see if he gets a comsat. Wow, that's very dangerous. So it looks like Darkelf is going to be able to take out that 12 o'clock expansion, yeah, taking out that command center altogether, doing the first major victory. That's the first major blow of this map in Darkelf. Wow, he's in a really good position to take this as far as a long-term economic victory, because first of all, it looks like he controls essentially more of the map to me. He's encroaching on C's base. He has C kind of more on the defensive. And secondly, he's using cheaper units. He's got those Goliaths, and even though they're lacking mobility, I don't feel like C's going out and pushing and really going all over the map and forcing Darkelf's units to be everywhere at once. And I think that's the advantage of those Goliaths, or I'm sorry, of those raids. If he could just go ignore, maybe build a few more and make them kind of a strike force, treat them as vultures of the air, I think he would vultures of the air. I think he would be good to go. Another large dropship force pushing out. So Darkelf doing the exact opposite with cheaper, smaller units. 50, 100 Vespene gas versus 150, 100 Vespene gas is being more mobile than C's forces, and that should not be the case when you're talking about Wraiths versus Goliaths and dropships. And it looks like C is breaking that contain, but in the meantime, Darkelf going to press up with this dropship attack. Let's see if that gets comsatted, or if C can get an information on this, because this could be absolutely devastating, especially at that position they're pointing out right there, and especially along the factory lines. Yeah, in the meantime, it looks like C starting to press ahead. Breaking that contain, he obviously needs to get that expansion back up. Yeah, going to go over the lines, and it looks like he is going to be able to get a drop right, going to be able to drop right into the main of C's base, and that could be absolutely devastating. Oh, this is going to hurt a lot. Going to get all over the supply here. It doesn't look like there's a lot of, looks like it's been entirely mined out, fortunately, but there's still a ton of supply there that can be taken down, and that's really the more important factor here, is if he can take out the supply depots, take out that command center, do a lot of other damage. In the meantime, those dropships all going to get hunted off, though. That is one nice thing about raids, is you don't have to, with the dropships, you can hunt a couple dropships down each turn, and it's going to try to even it up economically now. And it doesn't look like there's enough Goliaths to protect those tanks, fortunately, for C, but he still ended up losing a lot there. He's going to lose both those starports. He's going to lose probably, it looks like about 4 or 5 supply depots before he cleans this up. So very effective drop for Darkelf. So Darkelf really getting ahead here. First of all, controlling the map. Secondly, wow, and you can see going back freely across the tanks. So as you can see, that just being able to produce more Goliaths is really working out for Darkelf here, especially with him being more mobile than C, and C now starting to get a lot of turrets down the ground. And Darkelf going to go for another attack at the south. I didn't realize that C had an expansion up at that location. And yeah, going to push up now, and SCV's coming off the line, but obviously not going to be enough to stop this attack. So C in a lot of trouble here, going to lose the 6 o'clock expansion as well. Not looking good, and going to bring these raids up, try to get them across the map to try to defend this once again. At the very least, he's going to have production halted there for the time being. Probably going to lose a good amount of those SCVs. The raids coming in now, easily taken care of. Actually, it's going to mop out that force, and that could have been a lot worse. He could have lost that as well. And now, being a little careless and pushing in his tanks without sieging them, the raids now going to push up, take out those tanks, and C on the offensive now. C going to actually, I wish we could get a little look. It looks like that top lane going down the middle lane, so denying one of Darkelf's expansions as well, and getting rid of actually one of the precious comsat centers there of C's, and now